Alright everyone, so finally I'm actually going to make an Golden Flame changelog. It's been a while, but I've got quite a lot to show. In fact, I've got this ginormous changelog right here, and it begins all from the 30th of December. Because I took a break, roughly midway through December, because Christmas was happening and all that, and I was just trying to get a few things ready here and there, and there were already features added, but at that point, I wasn't, I'm just bad at making video, I won't lie. So, let's actually get to the point of the video. So, I have everything from then till literally today, the 18th. Quite a lot. And I just want to show some of the basic changes. So for one, right, a lot of the enemies in particular, not just the wolf, but nearly every enemy in the game has been converted to essentially what I would call the modular system, right? And this modular attack system, or action system if you will, allows me to break up every single action into small components that make things really easy to flow without interrupting animation. One of the main problems I had before was, talking about probably during the Hitstone video, or the hitbox video, sorry, there's a block of I had block of action before, but it would really limit my ability to make particular attacks happen. A good example would be the Gushava, right? The Gushava attack were not very good because he couldn't do the multi-hit punch. He couldn't do a few other things here and there. It became a really big problem for him for quite a while. But that's been changed. I know every enemy in the game has that now. I can show you that right now. Give me a second. Let it load up. Go. First one with the wolf. Go. Actually, if I turn on all that information, I've got the shader active, and the low one show there. I accidentally go into. But yeah, you can actually hear the sound as well, but it does the attack, and the attack has individual parts. So, it gets the, you get the anticipation, that's a separate action, then the charge, where you're preparing to go and fight, and then finally, obviously, you get the actual fight itself, and then you get a recovery. Which, I think I need to make a few adjustments to the animation here and there, but they're meant to be a genuine normal recovery, but I'm trying to keep them quick as well. You see, he's kind of like a transformer, I love it. But yeah, the wolf definitely been fleshed out with that, but also, if you're noticing, right, the wolf has an upward, trigger, and that's for the jump attack in particular, and the reason I've done that is I want to make enemies very contextual, right? So rather than doing it 1, 2, 3, and then they do nothing else, right? Enemies will attack based upon where you are relative to them. So a good example would be obviously, if you're above the wolf will try and bite at you. If you are in front of the wolf will try to bite you at the front, right? Or enemies can do combos, but only if you're still in front of them. So good example would be this boy over there. I must turn him off. So I'll just go here and show. Yeah, see, he'll only do the first attack if you're in front. And that's good, because that's kind of the point, really. But, if you're noticing, the next thing I did, right, was, I've got to changelog here for, all the enemies, but the game have all been converted to a true modular system, obviously, and the hurt blockers they had have been adjusted because enemies can run into you, right, and actually do a little bit of damage. So, if you just, you just run into them, you will get damaged, and that is intentional because, just don't run into enemies, I suppose, but, I'm very lenient when it comes to hurt boxes, right? They're smaller than they look. And so the Ivana's been converted as well, but the Ivana is very buggy at the moment. All of her attacks are working, but they're not. Oh, at the time, her projectiles were broken, but the Ivana is something that needs to be worked on a little more, so that's a little less important. But the speed variation variable here that I'm mentioning, that that I want to show, and I'm going to show that in more detail by, oh, whoops, just stop that. I'm stupid, but basically, I'm not sure, I don't think the wolf had it, but other enemies definitely do. No, actually, the wolf does have it. I'm just stupid. Poor human. Okay, yeah, so, if I let the enemy attack, they actually begin at a really fast speed, and then they eventually start slowing down. They're all at the speed of about 3, if I turn on the debug information, it's actually a lot more obvious. And it's the same for the Gashaba, but in the reverse direction. So, the Gashaba will actually, try to hit you. And he'll try to hit you by, like, you know, he'll actually speed up. So, he begins at, like, 1.5, which is pretty slow, and that's because he's on ledge and stuff like that. You don't want him running at you, but, you know, the longer you go at him doing an attack, faster it becomes. And then, once he's fast enough, he'll run right at you and, he'll do a grab, but the grab is not coded in yet. But you can see how that feels, and with the game, obviously, I'll let them do an attack again. Yeah, they jump back to, I believe, either 5 or 6. So, that's how it feels in that regard. It's really quite nice. So, next thing, okay, I'm just stupid. There we go. No, I think all of them there. Yeah. But as you can tell, I had knockback back into these enemies, and the knockback perfect. It worked pretty much on point. Except for, well, I didn't give any knockback to the Gashaba there. But, if I show here, yeah, screw off, retard. So, yeah, if I go over here, the knockback actually gives them, like, a bit of glide, right? So, because right now, I don't want the knockback to fling them up into the air, because I want enemies to, flinging an enemy up into the air should be a reward, right? In fact, why the Lark attack does that. But, you know, if you fling them up right away, you kind of, enemies don't have a way to really, I mean, it's one of the kind of things where, like, it's a little hard to kind of do a combo, but, well, not hard necessarily, but you kind of need to, but I want Lily to feel grounded, right? I want Lily to feel like, when she's on the ground, she does specific attacks, and when she's in the air, she does other ones, right? And I want to encourage Lily to be on the ground in terms of, her attacking. So, she won't be able to move around when she does this kind of attack, she'll be doing a different one. So, what you're really going to do is stop, and then do a specific attack. Kind of like a samurai, right? She's to ground her position, ready up an attack, and strike an enemy. And if she does that, she has the ideal format where she can do a really nice combo. So, and the way the attack is structured is the perfect distance for that, right? It's specifically designed to give a little bit of knockback to the first attack, a lot more knockback to the second attack, and finally, the third attack multi-hits because it bounces the enemy back onto the projectile, and adds small duration in terms of invisibility. So that's all intentional, that's a fairly new feature, but one of the other new features is the flip function. So, enemies literally do a little cute flip, so this is entirely dependent on speed, so the faster they're moving, the longer it takes for them to slow down and then turn around. So, yeah, you see that. If I turn the speed up on the enemy, you see it even more, it'd be way more dramatic. But that's kind of the idea there, and it feels really nice, you know, it's just giving a little bit of character, you know? And it's also to, you know, kind of encourage Lily to just do this, you know? Like, this is intentional. And it's meant to be like that, you know? Because, I mean, these enemies are weaker, other enemies will punish you way more, but, it's like, it's to encourage Lily to jump over specific enemies and, manipulate them. Because they're not the smartest tool in the shed. So, that's kind of the way, you should think of that. But the other thing I want to show is, if you look at the enemy up there, that's right, they have, he's tracking, he's like trying to reach Lily up there, that's great, but he won't go off the cliff, because he had automatic cliff detection, built in, that's what the line is for. Other enemies don't have this yet, because I'm experimenting with it, but this is one of the features that they have, and, it's real good because, certain enemies should not ever leave a cliff. So, a good example would be the Gashaba. The Gashaba should never, ever leave a ledge. pretty much. At least that's the idea. Zeman will, but they'll have a different detection radius. So it'll be like when I'm finished mucking around this, it'll be a downward laser that goes down till it touches a block. If it touches and detects a block, they'll jump. If they don't detect a spike, that's the important part there. So if they detect a spike, then they won't jump either, right? They'll be like, and then they'll try and find a new way, like, to run away or something. I'm considering giving them like a return to idle, but yeah, like that's kind of the idea there. I'm just reading through all the notes because I've got a hell of a lot of notes right now. Go. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh yeah. So the poll card is obviously been updated, right? Just make sure. Yep. Cool. So yeah, this is the new poll card. Pretty nice. Like I really like the sort of look it had because before it just looked like a basic screen, right? I want to give it more character, make it look a little bit more organic. And on top of that, whoops, that's the shader, right? But I'm sure that. But I have a map. It's not entirely functional yet, but it's dependent on what area you're in. So that's correct. The only thing I need to do is make sure there's a little icon, at which specific room you're in. Because you're in the debug room, obviously that doesn't really count. But yeah, that should it's not like an automatic map in that regard. Different automatically update depending on what rooms I have to make these. I have to make these art assets individually, but that's fine. Kind of why it looks like kind of bad. So that's been updated. Now if I check through here. Okay. Oh, there's just some bugs stuff. Oh, the renewal action. That's right. So, there's a special action that's been added, right? Let me just turn on the Ivana. And I'll turn off the wolf. Turn this guy back on for later. Just get rid of that and get rid of that. There we go. So, the Ivana has a very special action called renewal. And renewal, what it allowed for enemies to do is that I don't want enemies to spam particularly powerful moves all the time, right? So rather than making it like what I did before, where it'd be a free action loop, where it'd be like 1, 2, 3, and then they can do the super move after, I'd rather make it be more contextual. So I made it that enemies require energy to do super moves in the same way Lily does, literally. Oh god, I need to fix that. The Ivana is very bugged out at the moment, unfortunately. Just because I'm busy reworking her own code. But if you saw that flashing animation there is called renewal action. And that is quite a nice one, I gotta say. So if you're not in her attack radius for long enough, she'll do the renewal and then she has access to new abilities. Yeah, I need to pick up the Ivana, but that's literally the best example there, right? So she can do the laser beam with that ability now. But if you stop her midway through it, well, okay, hang on, let's do that. Kill that guy. Just wait for her to do it. Yeah, you can interrupt her. That was meant to. That's not meant to happen. I think she literally turned to a debug ball. Oh, that's amazing. But yeah. So yeah, you're meant to be able to interrupt it and therefore stop her from doing a super move. And that's like a bit of counterplay, right? That's pretty much how I want to have the game feel like in that regard. Whoops. Let me just check something over here. God, I've got quite a lot of these. Another thing I've got actually is the game is playable on remote now. So what that means is that I can turn the remote on. I don't have any visual indicator for this, but should be fine. So yeah, right now the remote's not working because I have not switched it on. But if I press a little button on the remote, select, now it's working. And it works pretty much one-to-one. So, you got this switching here. I'm gonna be changing up the switching when I get a chance, but yeah, you know, dash there. Dash is a trigger at the moment. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep it that way. Jump A, because really like, you know, all plays partially a platform. You very much need to feel like that. Also, I changed up the dash animation. This is like a test one at the moment, but it's gonna be fine like later, but that's not really the point. The other trigger is for your your Froggo or any sub-weapon ability. And let me just I can pause, which is nice. I use pause to restart the game by pressing there's like a little debug thing there. The last thing is whoops, if I restart the game, I did that. If I go to this particular sub-weapon, yeah, it does that. There's a little bit of a bug there. I don't really know why, but aside from that, you know, like you can pretty much do any of that kind of stuff there. And yeah, the whole game works the way it's really intended. So I'm gonna go back to PC because I enjoy that. So yeah, you got the normal control back. But one of the other things that was accidentally shown there that I really enjoy is this ability here. So that ability is what I would call the A border or the E border. Like A is in like, you know, air almost, you know. So it's like Eriga, you know, kind of, it's Final Fantasy nonsense, but you know, this border here is literally designed as a way to get enemies off you. Now it's still a risk because obviously you know, you kind of have to be careful, but this is to make sure enemies don't gang up on you too heavily, and it really feels nice. The only problem is you can still get hit while doing it, and that's the risk reward of it. So if you have enemies like still crowding around, you're better off running away. But you know, otherwise you can set yourself up for an attack like that as well. The whole purpose of this ability, aside from creating a border, is also to get you down really fast, right? Which is good for the platform. And so you can actually, if you cancel it using a mini lily cancel, you can actually do a funny. Now the mini lily cancel still needs a little bit of work, but that's just because I have to implement something for it. The something that needs to be implemented for it is actually I'm gonna go back to the base room here. So kill the wolf. There we go. So the thing that needs to be added for it is actually this. Oh, okay. This ability here I'm about to show you. So when you're in hit zone, you can do something called burst. Like that. Won't look like that. Right now I'm just using play color graphics because I do have an animation for the burst, which can add it to the game. Ooh, excuse me. But that burst, right? Is really designed as like kind of a last resort measure because, as you noticed, it nukes your energy really badly. But only if you're in hit zone. Because if you do an animation cancel, so say you're doing like, you know, something like whoops. I think there we go. You can cancel out of it immediately by shrinking the mini lily, and there'll be a burst there. But as a trade-off, you use energy. And the reason this is the case is to make sure that it's not broken, because right now, like, you can cancel nearly any ability, and that might cause some problems, you know, like, maybe, you know, like, just grab that. Because imagine you can do this. Oh, wait, whoops, I'm stupid. I pressed the wrong button. Okay, so imagine you can do. I don't even think I even gave enough time for it to pop out. Okay. Yeah, like, you know, and then you just immediately do that, right? Like, basically like that, right? Okay, I need to. Whoops. Stop! Okay, I'm stupid, I know. Now, there should be a longer recovery to that, but, right now, it's not. I need to experiment more with that, but you kind of get the idea, right? So, that kind of, that's the burst, and the burst is, partially to also like get you back into a normal state, right? It's not just to get enemies off you, but the mini lily burst won't be doing any damage. But there we go. So the mini lily burst won't do any damage if the whole purpose is to restore you back to default. So in that way you can do more action. It's meant to like increase your combo potential in theory. Especially with sub-weapons. Your sub-weapons should have a longer recovery, and also this attack here should as well. So the last attack should have a bit more duration before you can actually do anything. So using it is more effective that way. Now, I think I've shown all the major changes. Let me check. There's a lot. I mean, there's also stuff like lasers, right? Lasers, work and they actually move entities. Hitboxes now scale properly. All the, some of the enemies have velocities I mentioned before. Lasers now die if the parent is hit. So, if I had an enemy that had a longer laser, when you hit the enemy and get into hit stun, well, they actually, the lasers stop, which is good, because, that's really how it should be. Flip, like that, okay, so, now, some of the last features I've added, right? First off, spikes have their own hitbox system, really, I just want to make sure, yeah, okay, cool. This will be the last thing that I show. So spikes had their own, and you can see right there, right? Right now, the actual issue with the recovery animation is so long, they don't have a way of escape. They can escape Lily's stuff perfectly fine, but they can't escape Spike. That's something I'm going to change. I don't want enemies to be able to survive the Spike. But that's like they basically damped up at the moment. Let me lure the wolf over here. There we go. Yeah. Go. He almost did it. You just need a little bit more movement there. I need to experiment more with that. But yeah, like, Lily's also going to be doing that as well. So when she, jumps on a spike, right, it will bounce her up or down depending on what direction the spike is in. And that's just to make sure that, like, she's not just standing there getting smacked by a spike, to give her an actual boost and, do something like kind of a spike jump, if you will. Now, that's basically it in terms of, like, all the big changes. We're getting pretty close to the demo. Oh, no, shit. Okay. Go. Parallaxing and background. So backgrounds now can seamlessly change between camera regions. We have like a camera region system now that works very well, and it allows for parallax changes on the fly. So I can change the background information here for the sky, for the other additional background objects like these trees. There's 3 layers of it at the moment. I just don't have the 3rd layer on because I don't have anything for it. But you can see the effect working right here. Like really these trees should be in the 2nd layer and all that, but that's not really the point. You can see the effect and it looks really nice. And so the game's starting to polish up, it just needs some more visual clever refinement and it needs a little more refinement in some places. I hate those fairies, man. I still hate those fairies. I love the wolves though, because they give me health. And so, I just need to clean up some of the animations. I need to refactor Lily. And I need to change a few triggers and a few moves for particular enemies. And give the Gashaba a grab attack. Oh, yeah, let me show you. Yeah, so the Zemos, they still shoot laser beams, but now they actual noise with it, and the trigger is very clean. I love the way these guys fight. Oh god, like, it's just looking smart. That room is... I need to, like, adjust this room later, but... Like, look at that, man. It's so cool. Might give a little more delay to it, though, but you see how, all the enemy counterplay works. Now, planned features I want to add... Actually, one more thing before I talk about that. So, you know, obviously I've got the shader here. I really love how the shader looks in their particular background. But you notice some colors don't work too well with that. Well, there's an easy fix for that, and that is enemies have their own, or not enemies, all entities in the game. That particular color is not real good for it. I need to give a little more variation to it. But all entities have their own shader, like separate from the main shader. It's like underneath the shader, because there's two shaders active. And this shader in particular, right? Can work for every enemy in the game because I've already applied it, right? You can see the wolf right there. Yeah, he's gone through all of it, and so Lily. And this is designed. I won't be allowing it to change on the fly, but change per room context, right? But like it looks really cool. I really like how it looks actually. Really nice. But the reason this is important is because I need to make sure Lily doesn't blend into every background. There are some backgrounds where, you don't really want Lily to blend in. I'm about to show that background effect. Okay, have a look at the dash for a minute. I'll just turn it. Look at that, man. It's the newest dash. It definitely needs some work though. But yeah, see this background here? There might be some problems. Now, Lily, her default colors are fine, but enemy that's nearly entirely bright colors. Yeah, cool. Okay, I need to pick the Ivana, but yeah, you can see the problem here, right? Like, I genuinely need to fix this enemy. It's starting to piss me off, but yeah, you see the laser beams and other stuff would blend into the background. And that's a really big problem. So, what I intend to do, instead, is, there we go. Yeah, allow for, shading. Like that. So, certain colors become incredibly stand out in the background. Like, the only thing not visible is her hair at that point, you know? And if I can... Yeah, I'm stupid, I had to go with that. But you get the point. I think I've talked for long enough when it comes to the video. We are getting pretty close to a demo. Now, the next thing that needs to be done is moving platforms need to be re-implemented into the game. Because I had to remove them because, well, they were very buggy. And they caused Chloe to clip into the floor, just randomly die. So, that's not good. So stuff like that needs to be re-added. Lily herself needs a refactor, so I can add one particular mechanic that is currently not added, and that is hyper mode. Hyper mode is essentially a reward mode that you get for essentially not being hit and killing a certain amount of enemies, right? Because or just getting enough life energy in general, right? So the more life energy you get, the more another bar fills up that's separate from the energy bar. And when it reaches full, you do the hyper mode. But if you get hit, you lose the mode. And it can encourage real good play and reward real good play for it. And so that's the idea behind it anyway. So that's one thing I want to add. I want to fix the Ivana. I want to add the other attack to the Zemo. I want to add actual ground attack to the Zemo. I want to add a particular enemy that is not currently in the game as of yet. That I really want in the game, and that would be. Let me open up the folder here. Area 1. Here we go. So, the Zimata have new variation. Just yeah, see this guy here? Yeah. So that is literally just a larger Zimata, or Zeman. I call them Zeman, but like the actual official term that will be used in the game is Zimata. But yeah, yeah, you can tell where I got my inspiration from for this design. But at least if you know what franchise I'm referring to. But when it comes to these guys are literally largely Zimata, right? The whole point and the whole way they attack is by, they do the free hit combo, but they do it with projectile shooting out like Lily, right? They're meant to be shooting out air projectile in that regard. And unlike the Zimata, they don't miss their second attack, because that is a thing every team Archer had, and it's intentionally designed that way. It's a sneaky little thing that I don't tell anyone about. Hang on. The second attack always misses. And that's intentionally designed that way because they're not competent fighters. It's meant to kill the purpose of that, if you will, right? Very goofy, but I love the idea. Like, they always miss their second attack. You know, I want to give, like, some enemies, like, intentional competence, because, you know, it's meant to give a little bit of character, you know? And I, like, the way I design this game is I design it like an animator. I try and think of characters in the way they act. But other things, you know, that need to be added, aside from, like, that particular enemy type, is, there's one other enemy type that needs to be added, which I call, these guys here. Now, hang on, actually, I've got a smaller version of that. There we go. So these enemies are Earth Spirits, because obviously, the Ivana, right, are kind of air nature spirits. While, you know, the Amano are air water spirits, right? They're more aligned with the air, but the water actually has a bit more density to work with. And so, with this here, right, like, this is more like a earth and spirit, right? Or nature and earth spirit. And they'll be hiding around in, like, particular, like, small crevices, and, like, if you look in this, experimental room here, they'd be enemies inside this kind of room, right? You know, I want to refine these guys a little bit. I want to add the larger version of Earth Spirit, right here. And I want to re-add, these little guys, you know? The Amar-Balls. I love them. Look at them, look at them! A little bubble, you know? I want these little guys here to, these are literally like, they look like baby Amano, right? But with them, they'll have like little hands and they'll throw little mini homing bubbles, right? That do basically like no damage, but they're designed to stun you in midair and cause you to fall to your death. If you land on spikes anyway, or to, you know, give a window for an Amano to actually kill you. So there's a bunch of those, but most of the enemies are pretty much done, right? Like they just need like a little more refinement, and certain attacks like this need to be added back. But once that happens, the only thing that needs to be done, aside from low refractor and a few other things, is the boss. And the boss of Area 1, well, you look a bit like a monkey, you know? Like, I have a literal folder here dedicated. Hey, bro. Hey, how you doing? And I really want him to feel like, you know, a nice characterful boss. He's gonna be like the hardest thing to do for, you know, Area 1 demo. But I want it to be, like, impressive, right? Because a lot of bosses are, like, cool. But they're like, okay, yeah, cool. I want this boss to be like, holy, this is a boss, you know? And this is the first boss, and he's like this over-the-top, like, dramatic, silly guy, right? He's, like, trying to punch you like the most, you know, I want him to be, like, off the wall, right? That's about it. Anyway, I've rambled on for long enough. Those are kind of the planned features. There might be a few other quality of life changes, like the menu being added, or like the main menu, stuff like that. But we're getting pretty close to the demo being released. And right now, like, it's all about refinement. And, you know, once, like, the first version of the demo is done, I'll be giving it to the playtesters that we officially have on the team. And, those people will go through and play the game and try to break it as much as possible. And then, if there's any bugs, you know, we're going to fix it. If there are any issues, we'll try and balance out some of the changes. And then from there, we're good to go. Anyway, that is all. I hope you enjoyed hearing about the development of Golden Flame or whatever. I'm not very good at making these videos, but I'm trying to. I want to try and be more regular as much as I can. So yeah, enjoy.